Welcome everybody to this December 2019 monthly City Council meeting. I'd like to welcome all of my fellow councillors. Councillor Adams is at a province. She's unable to be with us tonight. We have our directors, our CAO Bob Ashley, our Director Phil Pott is with us from Finance, and Director of Economic Development Mike DeSuska is here on the left wing, and our electrical Chief Engineer Greg Goody is with us tonight, and our Police Chief is with us, and special welcome to our friend from Charlottetown, Councillor Mitch Tweel. Has been a long time councillor in the city of Charlottetown, like about 30 years or so. 25, well, we're close. And Mitch is also the city rep on the PEI Federation of Municipalities, and also the island rep on the Federation of Canadian Municipalities. So welcome, Councillor Tweel. It's great to have you here. And we welcome CBC. Sarah McMillan is with us tonight from CBC Television and Radio, I guess. And I believe, and Brian Harlick is with us. He runs all the paperwork over here and all the buttons, and our city clerk. So anyway, welcome to all, and we want to welcome our viewers on YouTube viewing our council meetings from around the world. I'm not sure of the number of people watching, but I understand it's growing every year, every week, every day. So it's new technology. So welcome to all, and we'll call the meeting to order. Is there approval of the agenda? I believe maybe an amendment.
Yeah, there is an amendment to the police, fire, and emergency planning. There's resolution, I believe it's 19-140, and that'd be the forfeiture.
That'd be okay.
70.
So is there a friendly amendment moved by yourself and seconded by Barb, or sorry, Councillor Ramsey, that the agenda be amended? All in favour of the amendment?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Contrary, nay? Carried. Councillor
Just
Campbell, go ahead.
just a question, Your Worship. I've noticed the last several meetings that we used to have the habit of mentioning accolades for our wards or
Go
the
ahead.
city.
Yes.
And I
Every
was
councillor
wondering
has that.
if we could get another place on that again, because Mr. Snow's son had an accomplishment there in the weekend.
Yes.
And things like that should be acknowledged.
Yes, and they will. Every councillor has that opportunity when they get to their report to for that, and that's a great idea. And I had it in my notes to congratulate him too. But thanks for that,
But can we have it like a place on
any place at all you want.
the agenda?
Sure.
If it's all right with Brian, just put it on the agenda, and then we can.
Sure. Yeah, that opportunity is there for everybody to have those kinds of comments.
I do have a...
Sorry,
yes.
is there another amendment?
Yes, Your Worship. I'd like to add to the HR Legal Affairs, be 9D. There's a resolution.
9D.
9D. Just add it to the agenda. I would
And
move that.
Councillor Snow's the one, or you mentioned him.
Be 7D.
Okay. All in favour of the amended agenda?
Aye.
Contrary, nay? Carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi. We just barely call the meeting to order, but welcome to the Journal Pioneer. Great. Pardon? Alison, yes. Welcome to our December council meeting. So, is there a motion to approve the minutes from November 18th, 2019? Everybody's moving it. I think Councillor McDougall has her name up first in time, and there's our seconder, Councillor Duran. All in favour say aye. Contrary, nay? Carried. We're moving right along here. Number of things under correspondence, and I'll go through these fairly quickly because there was an awful lot of things going on in the last couple of months, and this is the Solutions to Employment Program. I believe Deputy Mayor McColeman represented the city at that program, that ceremony, and I thank you for that. And that was the chamber presentations there last week, a couple of weeks ago at the school. And that was the Salvation Army function for Christmas fundraisers. And the Easter Seal in Charlottetown kickoff for the Easter Seal ambassador. I attended that one. And so, as we all know, there's been so many invitations to things this month. And there was one to Charlottetown for the RCMP reception. And I believe Councillor Snow represented the city at the Sports PEI representation reception. East Prince Women's Information Center, that was held at the Presbyterian Church, and most councillors represented the city there, myself. And this was the major announcement by the credit union to announce the big sponsorship for the World Under-17 hockey. So that and many more invitations were received, and we'll continue on, not to take up too much time, because we'll move on with the agenda. We'd like to welcome our fire chief, Mr. Enman. Welcome to our monthly meeting, and I know it's your busy evening too on Mondays, training for the fire department, but it's great to have you stop by. We'll continue on with the financial services report. Deputy Mayor McColman, you have a report and I believe a resolution.
Thank you, Your Worship, and members of council and members in the gallery. To my colleagues on City Council and our residents of the City of Summerside, my report tonight consists of an update on our financial results as of the end of October. While the city is showing a shortfall in October operating results, this can be partially explained by the timing of our revenues and expenditures throughout the year. However, there are other reasons why we are projecting to finish the year in a deficit position. We are not expecting to generate as much revenue from wind energy this year, which was $535,000 less than we expected, for a couple of reasons which I'll explain. Point number one, we have seen much lower levels of wind compared to the same time last year, as well as in point number two, two of our wind turbines were damaged by post-tropical storm Dorian and were not in operation for approximately a month and a half. In addition, we have incurred an additional $678,000 in unbudgeted emergency expenditures to address items that materialized shortly after our budget was approved in April. For example, we had to replace our street sweeper, which cost over $300,000. We have also incurred significant costs related to the cleanup and restoration of operations following post-tropical storm Dorian. However, we expect to recover some or most of these costs over the course of time from the province. Those matters are now being submitted to the province. We have also incurred significant cost, as I indicated, and I've just lost my spot. Finally, later this evening, we will present a resolution for council to consider regarding the one-time increase in our annual gas tax funding. We are required, and this is expected of all municipalities, to allocate this funding to a project or series of projects. Even with this additional funding, we are still projecting a deficit at the end of the year. To address this deficit, we will have to look at funding the shortfall through our financial reserves, borrowing against the shortfall, or a combination of the two. Capital spending overall is over budget as of the end of October, but it is not necessarily attributable to any one project. $5.9 million has been spent on capital projects, and if you noticed all of the work around the municipality this summer and spring, that's a lot of our major capital projects. So many of those have been spent on such projects. And as of the end of September, those expenses start coming in, against a year-to-date budget of $5.1 million. On a final note, we will soon be commencing our planning for next year's budget. This process will take us through to mid-March, when we will present our proposed 2020-2021 budget to our residents and the community. I want to thank you for the opportunity to present this report this evening, and either myself or the Chief Financial Officer who has prepared this report will be available to take your questions. On another note, I just wanted to mention, as Mayor Basil has said, December has been an extremely busy month, many functions to attend, many different busy evenings, and I just want to take this opportunity to wish all of our residents in the wards, especially Ward 6, the business community, a Merry Christmas and the very best in the new year. And I do have, if there's no questions, resolution, recommendation resolution.
Thank you. Just a comment, that report was done a few days ago, I believe 3 or 4 days ago, but since that, the wind has been very, very strong, so it'll be surprising what we pick up if it keeps blowing like this. Any questions for the Chair of Finance, Councillor Campbell?
Just one on the recommendation here. They have Council Lotley unallocated amount totaling $1,356,409 of the direct allocation gas tax to the East-West Connector project. I thought it was the Pope Road Extension project.
I'll be mentioning that in the recommendation for the redesign. Okay?
Thank you. Any further questions for the Chair of Finance?
Thank you, Your Worship. It was moved by myself, Councillor Norma McColman, seconded by Councillor Brian McFeely. Whereas the Infrastructure Secretariat with the province of Prince Edward Island. Should I be doing the recommendation? My apologies. There is a recommendation to go forward before we vote. My apologies. Okay. My apologies. Okay, the recommendation is the direct allocation of the gas tax funding unallocated amount. The support explanation for the purpose is in October 2019, the City of Summerside was required to submit capital investment plans to allocate the direct allocation gas tax funds expected for the time period 2019, 2020, up to 2023 and 2024 in the years in between. Recently, gas tax recipients were advised that there was a requirement to file a capital investment plan for the additional gas tax funding received in 2019-20. For the City of Summerside, this amounted to $1,356,490. The background for this will be the following capital investment plans were submitted to support direct allocation gas tax being received for 2019 to 2020 and 2023 to 2024. I'll give you a breakdown for the fiscal year 2019-20. Project for paving in 2019, the amount is $444,090. Storm sewer 2019, $300,000 for that project. Boardwalk remediation 2019, $300,000. Sidewalks in 2019, $262,400. Pedestrian crossing lights in 2019, $50,000. That total would be $1,356,490. In 2020-21, the project will be the Central Street Pope Road redesign. That amount is $1,356,490. Additional gas tax funding will go towards the East-West Connector in the amount of $1,356,490. In 2022-23, it will go towards the continuation of the project for the East-West Connector, $1,433,775. And then again in 2023 to 2024, it will go towards the East-West Connector project in the amount of $1,510,352. It is being recommended that the additional gas tax funding be allocated to the East-West Connector projector for the following reasons. The capital investment plan was due to the Infrastructure Secretariat, which is the province of Prince Edward Island, on December 9th, 2019, and we were advised recently of this requirement. Also, point number 2, a capital investment plan for the East-West Connector project had already been prepared for the previous deadline in October 2019. And the final point is that the project cannot have occurred as yet. So it has to be something that's in the works waiting for the funding. And I do have a resolution to confirm all of those. And I'm just wondering, Your Worship and members of council, do you want me to read into the resolution all of those amounts again?
Well, if you just did it once would be fine, I think.
Okay, for the total.
Yeah.
All right then.
Do you have a seconder for the motion?
Yes, I do.
Right, I'm just gonna make a note of it here, so.
Okay. It was moved by myself, Norma McColman, Councillor McColman, seconded by Councillor Brian McFeely. Whereas the Infrastructure Secretariat with the province of Prince Edward Island requires a council resolution to allot the unallocated portion of the gas tax, which represents the additional payment made for 2019-2020. Be it resolved that council endorses that the unallocated portion of the direct allocation of gas tax funding in the amount of $1,356,490 be allocated as follows. East-West Connector. The table below, as I mentioned in my earlier minutes, recaps the capital investment plan submitted to the province of Prince Edward Island for the allocation of gas tax funding for 2019 and 20, as well as to 2023, 2024. And all of this information is in each council member's package.
Thank you. So it was moved by Deputy Mayor McColman and seconded by Councillor Brian McFeely. Any questions on the resolution? Councillor Snow. Sorry, I didn't see.
Go ahead.
I guess my question is, so we're recommending that that is where it goes, but if things change in the meantime, it always can be reallocated to another project. It's just to move the funding so we get it, right? Okay.
Yes.
Perfect.
That's what your same question? And to follow up on Councillor Campbell's comment, Pope and Central is 20 coming up, 1920. So,
And if I may, Your Worship, the one thing I did want to point out about the Central and Pope Road, I think that is a project that it has been a really big concern, not only to Councillor Campbell, but also to every council, because many of our residents do travel that daily.
thank you. And did you have a comment, Councillor Duran? Or? Okay. Oh, all in favor say aye. Contrary nay. Motion carried. Thank you very much. Okay, we'll continue on here. Tech Services, Councillor Duran, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Your Worship, and welcome to my colleagues and everyone here in the gallery and the media, and everyone in the ceiling watching on YouTube this evening. The 2019 construction season has pretty well come to a close. Staff are in the process of preparing budgets for next year's capital projects, which we will be deliberating on and selecting this coming January and February. Work is completed for the season on the Eco Park. The installation of water, sewer, and storm mains, as well as the electrical and earthwork, were able to be completed before the freeze up. And work is set to resume in the spring and will consist of the gravels and paving. Staff continues to review and assist the public with pending developments and building permits to be issued this winter. 9 building permits were issued for the month of November. We issued permits for 4 semi-detached houses, and then a number for accessory buildings, signs, etc., and some residential renovations. There are still people stopping in and speaking to staff for assistance with their projects. Residents are encouraged to ask for assistance with their projects that they may have planned for 2020, and they can also they can do so by visiting Tech Services on the 3rd floor of City Hall or by giving Tech Services a call. And that concludes the report for Tech Services.
Thank you. Maybe you mentioned it, Councillor, about the dollar value in the permits. I think we're close to $40 million at this point this year. Which is a tremendous year for development.
Yeah, they did send us all the permits to date. It wasn't included in the report,
Yeah.
but I seem to recall it being around that amount as well, yeah.
Great year for development. Any questions for the Chair of Tech Services? Do you have anything further at this point then?
No, I'm good.
Okay,
Good.
thank you very
Your
much.
Worship.
We're
Thank you.
Moving right along here. Councillor McFeely, you have an economic development report.
Thank you, Your Worship, and as you said in your opening remarks, Director Mike Tatuska is here, so we welcome Mike and thank him for the report, and I also want to acknowledge Mike's work for the last number of years. I'm not going to read the report verbatim because I think this year was really kind of a pivotal year in a lot of the foundation work that Mike has done the last number of years is really kind of coming to fruition this year. 2019 is, as Mike indicated in the report, is really kind of a year of shift and a year of transition. We're in really good shape, I think, moving into 2020. So the month has been filled with a variety of activities of the Economic Development Office, but I'll highlight a few. The office participated in a roundtable panel discussion on energy and economic development hosted by UNB Energy Fundamentals Program. The roundtable was specifically aligned with Summerside's approach under its Living Lab program on aligning energy and adopting innovative approaches to alternative technologies in the energy sector. The office has continued its Summerside Roadshow with various professional associations in Summerside to provide context and overview of the significant influx of investors looking and actually coming to invest in Summerside in 2020. While much of the new growth, estimated to be at over 300,000 square feet of potential industrial, commercial, and retail space, will require the collective effort of all professionals, our banking community, our real estate community, our lawyers and accountants, to be aware and be prepared to be able to assist these folks as they arrive. These road shows are a first step in preparing our community team to seize these opportunities. Mike, really, with the efforts of Mike in the last decades, working towards this. So it's great news, great opportunity for Summerside. The office has continued to host, endorse, and prospective immigrant investors throughout the month looking for that perfect business location and that perfect house in Summerside to settle in. Given the activity over the course of 2019, demand for all space and services is expected to significantly increase in 2020 in all sectors. As well, this month the office hosted another of its foreign investment clients, who now is finalizing their investment plans for Summerside 2020. Connective Touch, whom the office has been working with for over 18 months, is now looking to finalize their plans for expansion and looking to hire a general manager to assist in the setting up of this operation. So just to refresh council's memory about Connective Touch, they are a Welsh company. They're a biometrics innovator. They have tremendous success in Great Britain, and they're looking to get into the North American market, and they're establishing Summerside as their base to launch their North American operation. So this is a tremendous opportunity for Summerside, and again, much of the credit for that coming to Summerside is due to Mike's efforts. And if you just do a Google search on Connective Touch, you'll see some Welsh websites there that talk about Summerside, talk about this company growing and moving to Summerside. So it's a tremendous opportunity. The team has and is continuing the planning and development stages of the Echo Park. The weather is now shut down construction, but we have 4 service lots that are ready, and I know that the office is actively in discussions with clients to occupy that space. We will be working with our partners to explore solutions in early 2020 to begin construction on at least 3 buildings as soon as possible in the new year. And the demand appears to be there, so we need to move forward as quickly as we can to take advantage of the opportunity. We are continuing to develop and innovate when it comes to new program offerings and solutions to spur and stimulate development in Summerside. The Economic Development Office is working on some new concept programs to specifically target development in key areas and types in Summerside. To that end, the department is working on several new programs and enhancements to current incentives for council's consideration in 2020. Our goals, actions, and path forward are being implemented to give the Summerside investment community the help they need to succeed, making smart investments to grow our economy for the long term, and to embrace more cooperation and partnerships to realize those aspirations by working in partnership and working together with our key growth partners. So certainly, Your Worship, like to join other councillors, I guess, and certainly offering all the citizens of Summerside the best of the season, and particularly the citizens of Ward 7. Certainly hope that everybody has a safe and joyous holidays. Also, just want to give a little bit of a shout out, I guess, to the Parkview Senior Citizens Club. I know others have mentioned other ones, so I won't repeat those, but I know councillors have all been busy attending various functions, and I was able to get up to the Parkview Senior Citizens for a little while on Saturday afternoon. I know others were there, and certainly the entertainment was good. Councillor McDougall was the main person on main act on stage when I was there. So we certainly want to thank those folks for their work and their efforts on behalf of the seniors in town. So thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor McFeely. Any questions for the Chair of Economic Development? I do not see. I just wanted to make a couple of further comments, Councillor McFeely, and I too want to thank Mike Tasuska and Neil Moore and your department for the work that you have done. It seems like for the last few months there's a steady stream of people coming in to see your office and our office to talk about a new business that they want to start up. And there's a couple more in the last week that announced that they're going to be opening new businesses. That's as far out in the limb as I can go at this point. I don't want to mention any names, but one is for downtown and probably 6 jobs, and another one is in the area of downtown. So, but there are many others that they're meeting all the time, and for some reason or other, there were a lot of people wanting to come here to start business. So we really appreciate that. But like you said, Councillor McFeely, it takes a long time to get everything tied together, and a lot of meetings, and with the support of council, these things are starting to happen. So thank you again to the Economic Development Department. We'll continue on with Councillor Ramsey of the Police Service, Fire Emergency and Planning report, and I believe a resolution.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome. I'm going to do I'm going to do police report first, submitted from Police Chief Dave Poirier. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the police officer at Three Oaks, also known as the SRO. His first month was last month, and it proved to be a very busy time for him. Constable Montgomery had completed his first month of duties at Three Oaks and submitted his report from October 28th to November 30th. Some of the items mentioned in Constable's report include 2 presentations to students, patrols in Heather Moyes Park, parking lots, school hallways. He did 35 classroom visits. He tried to secure all bathrooms for vaping offenses and attended fights inside and outside the school. He generated files for parking complaints, seized drugs, seized a weapon, broke up some fights, and did some referrals to the youth worker. So all in all, a very busy month for this school resource officer. I'm so happy that he's in place up there. It seems like it was a very good decision on council and mayor's behalf. Training and service enhancements. Police attended the risk management seminar at the CUP. 2 members attended a major crime conference in Halifax, and 6 members attended and received their TASER certifications. Important to mention that Summerside and City Council, Mayor are proud of the community involvement that Summerside Police Services have in our city. So some of the things that I would, Dave has let us know that they attended. Chief presented students at Youth Engagement Center. Members attended Remembrance Service at Trinity Church and Credit Union Place. Members attended the Generation X dinner and auction in Muscush. Several members assisted fire services with the Santa Claus Parade. Members attended the Special Olympics Fun Day at SIS. Members assisted with the International Day of the Child Parade. Members attended the Notre Dame Clubhouse fundraiser and several MAD checkpoints conducted throughout the city. So you'll realize that our police services are certainly involved in our community, and that's wonderful to see. And they're also very busy with other areas of their duties. And so the occurrence statistics, the following is a list of some of the occurrence that totaled for October. Calls for service were 516. Traffic accidents were 25. Reported crimes of assault and threats were 32. Theft reports were 32. Impaired driving offenses were 7. Highway traffic offenses were 46 plus 7 warnings. Break and enter reports, business and residential, were 12. And drug enforcement charges were 8. Any questions on this report, you can contact Chief Poirier. He's here this evening. I won't give your cell number, though, Dave. So that's the end of that report. I do have a resolution and an amendment, actually. So if I could go ahead with that, if anyone has any questions on that report. No?
Go ahead.
Okay. So I have a resolution, COS 19-137, moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Snow. And it's that council directs staff to look into the pros and cons of winter parking, the winter parking ban, which is variable depending on the weather, and to come back with council with a report. I think we talked about that in our committee meeting, and so is there anyone that would like to speak on that?
Thank you. We'll get it on the floor.
Okay.
Moved by Councillor Ramsey and seconded by
Seconded by,
Councillor Snow.
yeah.
And any discussion? Councillor Snow.
I guess just, it's nothing too much, but just to make sure everybody's clear, it's just a report to bring back possible ways that could move forward, if there's any improvements to be made. Possibly the status quo is great, but as always, I think looking into pros and cons of everything we do, and the reason why we do it is a good step in improving any of the services we have, so that's the purpose of it. So.
Thank you.
And I agree, it's important to get the information back. And, yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Contrary, nay. Carried. Thank you.
Okay.
Pardon? Oh, sorry, I didn't see your hand going up. Councillor Campbell, nay.
Okay. Thank you. And so the amendment to the agenda was resolution COS 19-140, moved by Councillor Snow, Corey Snow, seconded by myself. Whereas the frequency and seriousness of citizens concerned about illegal activities being conducted in private residence has been brought to the attention of Mayor and Council for the City of Summerside, and whereas criminal operations in otherwise peaceful residential neighborhoods threaten the personal security and safety of all Summerside residents in general. This risk is heightened with vulnerable populations such as seniors and youth in particular. And whereas Summerside's elected officials have demonstrated public support towards taking any steps to hold unlawful individuals to account by all levels of government enforcement, and whereas a key step taken by all provinces apart from Prince Edward Island and Newfoundland and Labrador has been the enhancement of civil forfeiture statutes which allow police to seize property investigators believe have been involved in crime. And whereas the City of Charlottetown and Summerside have an opportunity to join forces in lobbying the government to take this key step. Therefore, be it resolved that Council supports the creation of a provincial forfeiture law as a means for government to seize criminals' property, and further, that the City of Summerside write to Premier Dennis King to ask his government to enact such legislation.
Okay, it's moved by Councillor Snow and seconded by
Seconded
Councillor
by
Ramsey.
myself, yeah.
You've all heard the resolution. Any comments? I see there's a couple of lights on. Councillor Snow, you have a comment?
Yeah, I have a statement that I'd like to make regarding this one. Your worship and fellow councillors, it gives me great pleasure to stand and speak to the motion that I'm moving to join forces with the City of Charlottetown on calling on the provincial government to support the creation of a provincial forfeiture law. Currently, every province in Canada, excluding PEI and Newfoundland, already have such laws in place. As someone who has experienced firsthand the impact of drugs and illegal activities can have on communities, families, and friends, this issue really does hit home. It is an issue that I'm dedicated to helping our city and the province as a whole find ways to address these issues that negatively impact our communities, families, and friends. This social issue causes our residents to feel unsafe in their own homes. It takes away the feeling of the community and is a major concern for the health and safety of the residents of Summerside, particularly the youth of Summerside. It has been just over a year that the residents of Summerside elected us to represent them. During this time, I put a lot of time and effort into dealing with properties with illegal activities that have been occurring. I have many conversations with police, property owners, neighbors, and government officials discussing this very issue. I have had some success, but it is obvious that our police forces are missing some of the much-needed tools and resources to help effectively deal with these criminals. I'm calling on my fellow councillors to support the motion, to join the forces in lobbying the government of Prince Edward Island to take necessary steps to hold the unlawful individuals to account. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Snow. Any further questions or comments? Councillor Duran.
Just a couple of comments, I guess. I know we were all out about a year ago, well, a year plus, I guess, when we were going door to door, and crime was certainly something that came up for some of us, maybe more than others, and some of us maybe not as much, but just wanted to thank both Councillor Ramsey and Snow for putting this forward, and for Councillor Ramsey, you had your drug forum, which kind of started the wheels of all this. I know you're planning to have another one, so just wanted to thank you both, and for me, you have my support for this and whatever else going forward, and it's good to see, and it's a really good message that we're sending to our residents, so thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Duran. I believe there was Councillor McDougall and then Councillor McFeely.
Thank you, Your Worship. I will be supporting the motion, and thank you, Councillor Snow, for putting this forward. I believe the City of Charlottetown has passed a motion, and hopefully we're going to be passing the motion here tonight, and they'll be forwarded on to the Federation of Prince Edward Island Municipalities to go towards the province. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor McDougall. Councillor McFeely and then Councillor Deputy Mayor
Thank you,
Coleman.
Your Worship, and I too will be supporting the motion. Just want to offer my thanks for you folks for bringing this forward. I think it's timely. We've certainly known that in many ways the police hands have been tied. This will be another tool in the toolbox to deal with this issue in our community, and obviously we're not the only community. Charlottetown certainly has the issue as well as other communities in PEI, so it makes all kinds of sense to me, and look forward to getting the motion passed and move forward.
Thank you, Councillor McFeely. Deputy Mayor Coleman, you have a comment?
Thank you, Your Worship. Yes, I certainly will be supporting it as well, and I want to thank you, Councillor Snow and Councillor Ramsey. I think the bottom line is, as already been mentioned, we have all heard that in the last municipal election, and I think what we want to and are trying to do is give voice to the many families, our community, and the seniors, so I hope tonight that they've realized that. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor McColeman.
Well, thank you,
Anything
everyone.
further before the vote? You have, ready?
I do not. Just sounds like we've got some great support here. Thank you, everybody.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Contrary, nay. Oh, sorry, Councillor, I didn't see your light on there. Go ahead.
No, I just said, we had personal experience. Friends of mine bought a home, and right across the street was cars coming all hours of night and stuff like that. And I know our police department did finally spook them out, but it took about 2 or 3 months of hardship and worry because they invested in a new home and this was right across the street. And I think this is the answer, or hopefully it is.
Thank you, Councillor Campbell. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Contrary, nay. Motion carried unanimously. Oh,
Oh.
we have somebody visiting here tonight.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, we got here. Good time anytime. Welcome.
I've been reading all your letters, and you've been telling me what a great job you're doing. So Santa wanted to come and say you're doing a great job. And I got a few little trinkets for you.
Oh.
I must say I overheard the conversation in the hall, and I just came from Mayor Brown's reception. He was skating though, and he wanted me to pass on the best regards to this mayor and council, and thank you for supporting that move.
Good.
I got a few gifts for her.
Good.
Well, Santa always comes through you. First of all, you can hold the bell.
Okay.
Now, you might have to help me out because I don't know everybody. Well, that's a good idea. Oh, I can go right here. I can call you in. Well, thank you. Well, Santa...
Now that you're on YouTube around the world.
Santa doesn't use this technology very often in the North Pole. Yes, that'd be great. Justin, Tech Services. I have you on my list. I understand you're a firefighter, and we got all kinds of stuff for you to fight the next fire. Maybe even a new station in there somewhere. Congratulations. Merry Christmas to you, Justin. Merry Christmas. Oh, and the deputy mayor. Deputy mayor is always looking sharp. Come on over. I may have to get you to help Santa open this up. But I wanted to give you some accessories this year.
Santa.
You always look wonderful. And Merry Christmas. There's some bling in there too. And then we have Councillor Barb. I watched the radio appeal from the North Pole, and you need a little help, folks. And we got a lovely little guitar here for Councillor Barb. Merry Christmas. And you can play that later on. And then let's see now. We have a lot of things in here. Oh, we have Councillor Greg. I understand Greg doesn't travel an awful lot. So Councillor brought him a travel pillow for the next FCM meeting. I hope you can make it. You learn a lot at those meetings, Greg. An awful lot. Merry Christmas to you. Okay, Santa could use an accessory here. Okay. Well, we have Councillor Corey. Councillor Corey, Recreation, I believe. And we got this set up, your own snowball thrower.
Awesome, thank
And
you.
some snowballs.
Thank you.
One thing about recreation, there's always a snowball here and there.
There it is, yeah.
Merry Christmas to you. Okay, folks, let's see, the bag is, oh, we have Councillor Bryan. And Councillor Bryan, where's Bryan? Here's Bryan, yes, okay, you can sit on my knee, but I got a lovely lunch bucket for you with a lovely soccer ball.
Thank you,
And I wish you very much well in the Canada Games. I'm hopeful you won't need the lunch bucket if the office is in Summerside. So we'd look forward to that. Thank you very much, Brian. And Councillor McDougall, he was a tough one. He was a tough one to get. I must say, of all the councillors, I got more letters from Councillor McDougall than anybody. So I know that ditching filling is a big issue. So we got a bag of dirt for you and a nice pair of work gloves. So all the best.
Awesome.
I know it's going to be a tough budget.
We're planning to get the message through.
Well, that's good. You come right through the North Pole. Well, we don't have ditches.
Are you sure that's soil?
I think it's good soil. And we have Carrie, Councillor Carrie, policy. Oh, Carrie's not here, but I'm very impressed, Santa's impressed with the way she takes notes. And she's got her good ideas book for the next policy meeting. Make sure she gets that. She's been a very good lady. Okay. And we have the CAO. I understand this is the last meeting of the decade, maybe. CAO? Yes, he is. I'll have to. Yes, sir. Now, we got 2 or 3 things. And Santa was busy with this one. First of all, I understand you like the bow ties, so we got you a nice tie for Christmas.
Oh, great, thank you.
And we got you a step meter, so you can count your steps now that you won't have to come to town hall. And there's a pair of braces, and I know every time you get in your closet, you'll be able to remember our lovely mayor who always wears the braces. Merry Christmas.
Thank you very much.
All right, all the best to you, CAO Bob. And then we have His Worship.
Yes.
Of all of the mayors that Santa brings things to, Mayor Basil may be the longest one I've ever gotten. Basil has always found a way to shake hands, and we got him a handshaker. And that'll keep him going for years to come.
Thank you very much.
Merry Christmas, Your Worship. Merry Christmas. All the best to you. Now, there's another bag here somewhere.
Right here.
Okay, and there's a few other staff members here that we'd love to help out, Your Worship. And it's the finance, yes, the finance. The finance man's is here. Now, the big deal with the finance, and we got you a special gift here, if I can find it. There we go, some penny wrappers. And we definitely want to make sure you save the pennies this year. Absolutely. Merry Christmas to you. And with that, Your Worship, I think that's it. I got a few gifts for your directors, but I don't know exactly who they all are.
Mr. T is over here.
Oh, maybe Mike could come and say a few words. Ho, 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 Merry Christmas. Come on over here. Merry Christmas, and maybe Mr. Bryan there too. And whoever's not here, and the fire chief, I noticed the fire chief is here. I always gotta look after the fire chief.
Chief Dave.
Where's the chief?
Please, Chief.
Oh, the chief. I had something for the chief. Here he is.
Handcuffs.
Just in case you get into an investigation, you need a little bit of Merry Christmas. That'll help you right out. And then I got the fire department as last and not least. I just want to say thank you, Your Worship. This is a great city. I'll take my bell. And thanks for having us, and Merry Christmas, and all the best to you.
Thanks,
We're going to have a little reception a little later.
Well, Santa, I don't think so. I think Santa better hit for home. Pretty near bedtime. Okay, Your Worship. Hip, hip. Merry Christmas, everybody. And all a good night. Oh, 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 oh.
Oh. Okay. He came. I think he flew in.
Santa better bring back the mic. I wouldn't want the chief to take me in tonight.
That's funny.
I think he came in through Charlottetown, Councillor Twill. Okay, where are we on the agenda?
Oh, I think we're just moving into fire.
Oh, fire.
Yeah.
Oh, you still have some more to go?
Well, police is finished.
Go ahead.
Right? What did you say? Well, that was exciting. Nice to see Santa Claus. So now we're going to go into fire services and their November report. There were 22 calls for assistance during the month of November. 6 medical emergency calls, 2 structural fires, 4 alarm panel calls, 6 miscellaneous calls, 2 dumpster fires, and 2 canceled calls. There were 16 training opportunities that totaled 51 hours. So your firemen were busy, Chief Ron. Fire services had a very busy time to date. Calls for assistant numbers have just been finalized for 2019 and will go down as the busiest year in the history of the department. 344 calls were answered this year, surpassing the previous number of 227 last year. So a 47% increase. And one of the main reasons for the increase is a number of medical first responder calls that the firemen are now attending. 85 emergency calls this year, and that was 25% increase on the total calls. The members would like to thank the residents of the city for helping to make this year's Santa Claus Parade an outstanding success. All proceeds generated from the parade will be given to those local charitable organizations that put together Christmas hampers for the residents. And those donations were given the night of the Christmas appeal. And the Kinsman St. Elner's Lions Club and the Salvation Army all received $1,000 from the fire department. Thank you so much for that money that was raised. Chief Inman and Deputy Chief Mose traveled to Winnipeg to go over the final details on the new replacement truck for Engine 3. Firefighters, police, and EMS attended an assembly at Athena School discussing leadership qualities as first responders, and it was a great afternoon. And November 6th was Take a Student to Work Day. The fire department was fortunate enough to be able to take 3 students from Athena School, and a great time was had by all. It's really nice to see the fire department involved in our community as well. So thank you for that, Chief Ron. I'd like to take a moment and thank the parade committee, who did a wonderful job on organizing this year's parade. So Chief Ron Enman, I think it's worthwhile that I say their names. They did a wonderful job. Ron Enman, Wally McCausland, Danny Richard, Danielle Albert, Robin Casey, Josh Cameron, and Downtown Director Lydia Potter were on that committee. I was on it too, but I was just kind of hanging out and just having fun and having some pizza with you guys, Ron. And I would especially like to thank the many sponsors for the generosity. Many children will be happy this Christmas because of your kindness, and I would like to take a moment and address each one of them. So McIsaac's Backhoe, Standard Aero, Kent Building Supplies, HMS Office Supplies, Centennial Auto, Chrysler Dodge, Michael's Pizzeria, Superstore, Sobeys, the Bulk Barn, and all the volunteers that helped out. I hope I didn't forget anyone, and thank you for your help and kindness. That's it for the fire. Does anyone have any questions on that?
I do not see any questions.
Okay.
Like that.
So then the only other thing I have is emergency service, and so CAO Bob and myself and Deputy Mayor Norma, we've been meeting quite often and trying to make sure that everything's in place, Bob, before you exit. And thank you for all the advice and the hard work you've done on emergency services and ensuring that the city of Summerside will be in good hands when you depart. And I'd just like to take this opportunity to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and thank you for all your support throughout 2019.
Thank you, Councillor
Thank you.
Ramsey. Okay, we'll continue on. I believe, Councillor Snow, you have community services.
I do, Your Worship. Thank you. Report was compiled by Director of Community Services, J.P. DeRoger. Each month seems to be busier than the last, and November was no different. First things first, Chantel Delaney was recognized as Employee of the Year by the Greater Summerside Chamber of Commerce Annual Awards Gala. Chantel is a Client Services Manager at Credit Union Place, and her co-workers couldn't be more happy for her. So congratulations to Chantel. Eastlink Arena hosted the annual Remembrance Day ceremony that saw 3,200 people through the doors of Credit Union Place. We Will Rock You, the musical, was announced in October, and tickets went on sale in November. Tickets are moving quickly, especially during the holiday season. The Summerside Dolphin Swim Club hosted the Fall Swim Meet, which attracted over 180 swimmers from across the Maritimes to the Aquatic Center at Credit Union Place. In addition to that, fall swimming lessons came to a close and will return in January for the winter swimming lessons. The Fit Stop introduced some newly family-oriented classes. I can't get that out. Family-oriented fitness classes in November, a family fun boot camp, and Mommy and Me boot camp. These type of offerings make it easier for parents and families to keep active while spending time together. The Veterans Convention Center had yet another busy month with 27 bookings that included a variety of Christmas parties, Christmas craft fairs, conventions, and meetings. The annual Santa Skate kicked off the holiday season in the Eastlink Arena. With this, public and preschool skates are now underway, along with men's and women's shinny hockey. Summerside Minor Hockey Association has hosted tournaments each weekend in November. They actually started back October 18th, and since October 18th, I was talking to the president of Summerside Minor Hockey today. There's just about, I think it was 58 teams, 15 of which were off island. So when you think of that, 15 teams with 15 players and some parents on each team, you can see the economic impact that hosting those events have on our community. Also, the Parks and Green Spaces Division finished preparing for the winter months, and now with that done, they're focused to the walkways, Credit Union Place facility repairs, and preparing for the spring. That is my report, Your Honor. If there's any questions?
Okay, thank you. Any questions for the chair of Councillor Ramsey?
Yeah, just that announcement that was made the other day at the credit union. I wondered if you were going to chat about that for a second.
Yeah, I was going to mention it in a sec here, along with a few
Wonderful.
other things.
Okay,
So, yeah, to Barb's point, and I think His Worship mentioned it previously, Credit Union came on to sponsor the World Hockey Championships, which give, I think it's upwards of 520 hockey players and PEI passes to next year's World Under-17 Hockey Championships that will be hosted with us and Charlottetown. And every child that's registered in minor hockey across PEI is going to get a tournament pass to that. So that's an amazing sponsorship from the credit union. They continue to be an amazing community support. So thank you to them. Lastly, I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, especially the residents of Ward 4. And I'd like to really thank Bob for his work he's done over the last year. It's been an honor working with him. I've really enjoyed his leadership in my first year as a councillor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Snow. Okay, we'll continue on. I believe, Councillor McDougall, you have your own report, plus you're doing the report for Councillor Adams.
Thank you, Your Worship, and as I'm doing this report for Councillor Adams, she's on a well-deserved holiday. This is the HR Legal Affairs. Yes, she'd probably watch it. Hi, Carrie. The Joint Occupational Health and Safety Committee, as well as department subcommittees, continue to meet on a regular monthly basis. The Staff Association Christmas party was held on November 30th. A great time was had by all, a great turnout. Competitions are taking place for part-time police constables, deputy fire chief, and IT specialist. Women's training sessions were held for staff earlier this month. Health and safety wellness initiatives for staff for 2020 are being planned, and staff are preparing for payroll year end. I do have the cultural report that I will do before I do my resolution.
Sure.
But the policy review will be done by Councillor Duran, I believe, right? Okay. So this is the cultural Summerside report, and this was reported by Laurie Ellis. The following report captures some highlights of Cultural Summerside's activity from the mid-November to the mid-December time period. November 21st Draw of Art event hosted by Wyatt Heritage Properties was sold out and a successful event. Ticket holders enjoyed an evening of fine food, music, and a selection of an original work by local artists or artisans to call their own. Culture Summerside Annual School Christmas Program is currently underway. Each of the school children, teachers, and chaperones attending this year get a new perspective on the Wyatt Historic House Museum. The topics change each year and are written to correlate with the curriculum and have connection to the holidays. Public event is planned for this year as an extension to the school Christmas program. The Christmas at the Museum event scheduled for Thursday, December 19th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. invites the community to tour and enjoy the museum. The visit will stimulate all five senses, and visitors will enjoy talent of Carl Phillips as he plays Christmas carols on the 1890 Wyatt piano. The regular admission price is to the museum is being waived on the 19th in favor of a donation to make the event accessible for all. And council is invited to join in for an evening that will transport you back in time to the magical setting of the Victorian Christmas night that will warm your spirit. My batteries died. Create special holiday memories of days gone by. And deadlines are being met in the area of grant writing, proposals, and reports are being submitted to several government organizations. Is there any question?
Any questions for the chair? If not, continue on.
Your Worship, I have...
There it is.
Yes, so I do have a resolution here, and it gives me a great privilege to bring this resolution to the floor. As you know, over the last month or so, we've been in the process of hiring a new CAO. Hiring committee went through probably the last, I don't know, 5 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks. And you know, there was over 80 applications on a nationwide search. So it gives me great pleasure to bring this motion forward this evening. It's moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Brian McFeely. Whereas the City of Summerside staffing bylaw CS-23 states that the Summerside City Council shall appoint an individual to the position of Chief Administrative Officer by resolution. Be it resolved that Mr. Rob Philpott be hired as the Chief Administrative Officer for the City of Summerside, effective January 3rd, 2020.
Moved by Councillor McDougall and seconded by Councillor McFeely. You've all heard the resolution. Any comments or questions? You can go around the room if you want. Councillor Ramsey, your light was first.
I would just like to say congratulations, Rob, on this success. I personally look forward to working the next 3 years with you. And again, congratulations to you.
Thank you, Councillor Ramsey. Any other lights on here? Councillor McFeely. Sorry, Councillor, they're all going on at the same time here. Deputy Mayor McCollum.
I certainly do. I hate to have my back to Director Rob, but I do want to congratulate you on the appointment, and I want to thank you, CAO Bob, for all that you have given and done to bring us to this point. So very much appreciate it.
You want to get started with the forfeiture thing?
On another note, I think we all certainly can agree that the work that went into it, I know one of the last interview evenings was 6.5 hours, and I know that council, we all feel that we've worked very, very hard towards that, and it was a pretty tough decision because the finalists were all very, very good and worthy. But anyway, we did meet it, so thank you so much.
Councillor McFeely.
I'd just like to, again, offer my congratulations as well. But I also want to thank the HR committee for their leadership in this process. You know, it was a fair, open, honest process based on merit. And, you know, the finalists that all of council had the opportunity to be involved in the interviews were all extremely capable senior executives, and I want to thank all folks who had an interest in the CEO position, and again, can't express enough, I guess, how pleased we are with the result, and just look forward to the next period of time working with the new CAO.
Thank you, Councillor McFeely. Councillor Duran, your light is on.
Yeah, just wanted to, I guess, first of all, thank the committee and everyone that was involved from day one, and also to thank everyone who submitted their names as a candidate in the first place, and congratulations to those who made it to round 2, round 3, round 4. But heartfelt congratulations to our successful candidate. It was certainly difficult to sit as a council and hear from 4 very, very capable and qualified people, but I'm honored and looking forward to working with the guy that we all selected, and congratulations.
Thank you, Councillor Duran. We'll continue on across the floor. Councillor Snow.
Yeah, just quickly, I just want to congratulate Rob. Obviously, it was my first time sitting in on anything to this magnitude. It was an interesting process right from the start to the finish amongst councillors, and the way we got to where we ended up in the final selection, there's no doubt in my mind that that was the best selection out of the final candidates we had during the interview. There was a great selection of candidates that were shortlisted at the end. But I feel very confident that at the end of the day we made the best choice, and we're moving forward and moving forward in a positive way. So congratulations, Rob, and again, thank you to the outgoing CAO, because he's left it pretty good for the incoming one. So
Thank you, Councillor Snow. Councillor Campbell.
I'd like to congratulate Rob. I'll be kissing up to you shortly. and thank Bob very much. And the hardest thing I had was personally knowing 3 of the final 4, and they were all so strong people. It was really difficult, but congratulations.
Thank you, Councillor Ramsey.
Yes,
Councillor McDougall.
just before we
didn't
vote
miss
on.
anybody, did you?
No, we didn't miss anybody, I don't think. Just before we call the vote.
I'll make comment afterwards. Go
Okay,
ahead.
just before we call the vote, I just wanted to say thank you to all of council for their support in this. As we said, the last night was 6.5 hours or something like that, and it was quite a process, and we had some hard choices to make, but I think we made the right one. I want to take the opportunity to congratulate Rob. Worked with Rob for over the last, I think you've been here 8 years, Rob, something like that. And I've always enjoyed a great working relationship, and I don't want to see him do anything to frig that up. And I also want to take the opportunity to thank Bob. I was on the hiring committee when we selected Bob, and Bob, you didn't disappoint. I thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, we'll have to vote on this now. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Contrary, nay.
Yeah.
Motion
You
carried.
thought you were gonna get. Thought he was gonna get 8 nays there.
Thank you. Just before we move on to the next one, I just want to make a couple of comments as well. I want to say congratulations to Rob. And there's a press release that will be given out there shortly. Maybe you've gotten a copy of it already, I'm not sure. But City Council for the City of Summerside has given the nod to Mr. Rob Philpott to take over as Chief Administrative Officer for the City of Summerside, as Mr. Ashley is retiring on January 3rd. Mr. Philpott, currently the Chief Financial Officer for the City of Summerside, emerged as the winning candidate, as was mentioned by a number of the councillors. As I think we had over 80 applications, so it wasn't easy and it took a lot of time. And as was mentioned, it was a tough job to get it narrowed down. And besides his experience right here with the City of Summerside, Rob draws from a deep well of diverse executive leadership. Sampling his background, Rob has held senior roles in the health sector with 2 provincial governments, and most recently he has been appointed to the board of the Canadian Museum for Human Rights. Rob has a MBA from Dalhousie University, a BA in Commerce from the Memorial University, and he is also a chartered accountant. So, Rob, we look forward to working with you, and again, we say congratulations. So while we're on the subject, maybe Rob might want to say a few words.
No pressure. Thank you, Your Worship, and good evening to members of council and the members of the public, and for those of you who were able to attend tonight and those who are watching at home tonight. I promise you I'm not going to take 6.5 hours to speak here. I know you've had a very involved and a very detailed process to go through over the last few weeks. I guess to say that I'm feeling very humble is quite an understatement. I sincerely appreciate the confidence that council has invested in me, and I promise you that I will give every ounce of my being and my background and my skills and my abilities and my passion to being able to serve you as members of council and ultimately to serve the community. The opportunity to work with a very visionary council and a very visionary leadership team does not present itself very often. I think that working in this community, the can-do attitude and the spirit of innovation really are part of our DNA, and I don't think I could find a better place to work with a more supportive environment, a more resilient environment, and a more engaged and supportive environment. Just in terms of people to thank, I'm not going to do the Academy Awards readout list here, but the gentleman to my right, Bob Ashley, has been a trusted mentor and support to me for the last 7 years. He's given me a lot of lessons that I'm certainly going to take forward in this role, and hopefully I will put to good use, Bob, and thank you for your support. I've had a great working relationship with all of you on council for the past year and a bit, and I intend to make that relationship even stronger to the best of my ability. I have the honor, the distinct honor of having worked with a great team in finance and also with our senior leadership team over the last 7 years. To me, there's no better hallmark of a high-performing organization than working with folks who hold you to account and make you bring your A game every single day. And you know, I really couldn't ask for anything more. And on a personal note, I also wouldn't be here without the support of my wife and 2 children. So I guess with that in mind, I know we've got a lot of work to do as an organization. This council has really set the bar high, and that's where it should be, and we intend to keep moving that bar even higher over the next 3 years. And I look forward to being able to try to provide professional, honest, forthright, and objective advice to you over the next 3 years. And we're going to go from there, and it's, I guess, onward and upwards from here. So thank you again for your support, and thank you to all members of the community for coming out, and happy holidays to everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. So we'll continue on here. And we have the opportunity will be at the couple of items down the agenda here for Mr. Ashley to say a few words too. But we have a presentation to make. So I'm just giving you a little warning there so we're not catching you off guard. But he's given us 6 months notice, so. Okay. Municipal services. Or policy, I believe Justin's going to report on that. Justin, sorry, Councillor Duran.
Thank you, Your Worship. It's good to be back. I don't know how I can follow that up, but I'll try. I guess I'm substituting this. I'm in for Councillor Adams. She's unavailable tonight, so I will, as her vice chair, I'll give the report for bylaw policy review. It's broken down into 3 sections. So the first one is existing bylaw catalog. Last month, Council passed second readings for amendments to a number of bylaws in order to bring them into compliance with the new Municipal Government Act. The current catalog of bylaws are now up to date in terms of consistency in formatting, references, and numbering for retrieval purposes. This work is primarily legislative housekeeping, which means that all bylaws remain subject to Council review and revision as the need arises for improving their content, language, and application. So no bylaws were changed or anything like that. It was just we had to update the wording and the formatting to comply with the Municipal Government Act. Next section is new bylaws mandated by the province. Previous BPR reports have indicated that the city has been waiting to receive models of 2 new bylaws mandated by the new Municipal Government Act. The 2 required bylaws are the Access to Information bylaw and the Retention of Records bylaw. The province has just recently distributed these models, and BPR is convening later this week to review versions specifically drafted for inclusion in the City of Summerside's bylaw catalog. The new deadline for passage of these new bylaws is February 28th, 2020. BPR's plan is to bring the 2 bylaws to committee early in January. First reading should take place at the January meeting of Council and second reading in February to meet the deadline.
And the third item is the taxi bylaw. Council has directed the Bylaw and Policy Review Committee to review the current taxi bylaw and to bring recommended changes, if any, back to Council. The Council direction is a response to hearing a growing number of concerns registered by taxi operators, taxi riders, and the public in general. It has been suggested that existing taxi bylaw is outdated, irrelevant, and in some respects and difficult to enforce. This review process will include inviting input from various local stakeholders. I know Councillor Adams spent some time over at United Summerside Taxi, and I spent an evening a couple nights ago over at AirCab with Chris, and we went over some of the procedures and challenges concerning day-to-day operations and dispatch and that sort of thing. And of course, there's plan to reach out to Lucky's as well, the third taxi stand in town. So once all that is done, and of course we'll be meeting with 3 of them, and we'll be reviewing what needs to be changed and what needs to stay, and maybe nothing has changed, but that's where we stand with that. And I guess if there's no questions or comments,
Just one question, just with you stand there mentioning, I'm wondering if we're missing reaching out to a stakeholder in the citizens and ask for certain input from them. We got the taxi operators who are obviously in it to make money, which is great, but we do serve the citizens of Summerside, and I'm sure they have their take on improvements or what would help them, and ultimately that should really help us shape our bylaws for our city, because that's what we're here to serve. So that would be my only addition, would be maybe that we ask for input from the public if there is any in regards to the taxi bylaw.
And I think we will be, because there has been issues brought forward by the public and by the operators and by the riders. So the public not necessarily having to be riders, but yeah. So there's all that, and of course there's the ride sharing is emerging, and so we're going to be talking about all that stuff. And within the next, we'll be talking a little bit about it on. We got a meeting on Wednesday. And then from there, it'll hopefully flourish, and we'll nail down some things that have to be looked at, and so on.
Thank you. Councillor or Deputy Mayor Coleman, any question?
I do have a question, but I don't know if I have it in the right report. I know that we've maybe more like the technical, but I'll try it in this one. I've heard from a number of residents that do watch the cable, the community channel 10, and for many of them that are in senior citizens units or independent living or whatnot, many of them do miss seeing that on the community channel. And I think we have gone to live streaming on YouTube, but some of them don't have that opportunity, and I did promise some of them that I would at least bring it up. So if I've got it in the wrong report area, I just wanted to make sure it was noted publicly.
Thank you. I've had the same thing mentioned to me by a number of people, and I believe it's a number of councillors, and I believe it's been looked at by Mr. Herlick. I talked with him, and hopefully we'll have some more information in the next week or so on that to update council. See. Yeah. Anything further, Councillor Brown?
No, I guess just that it's possibly my last opportunity to speak tonight, so I wish everybody here and everyone there and 2 people over there and everybody up there happy holidays and Merry Christmas and happy Hanukkah and happy Kwanzaa and pretty much everything. And if you don't celebrate anything at all, have a great day, and we'll see you in January. So thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Drawn. Okay, we got 2 more short reports. I believe Councillor McGillis,
Yes.
you're back on the floor.
Thank you, Your Worship. This is a report from Municipal Services by our Director, Greg Goody. Greg is at the back there. Welcome, Greg. Biosolids warehouse of fertilizers has been emptied and delivered to agricultural fields for applications. Lagoon sludge depths have been measured this month, and the report is pending for the end of December. Wastewater treatment plant provided a tour of the plant for the SIS students to explain its operations. and all requested privately owned fire hydrants were maintained this month. Catch basin cleaning was completed this month. Street sweeping efforts are completed for the year. Sweeping. The new business park water services were connected this month. Road signage repairs were the concentration of this month to catch up on the Storm Dorian damage. Staff assisted with the Santa Claus parade this month with barricades placement and retrieval. The following snow removal efforts were completed this month: 2 road plowing events, 2 sidewalk plowing events, 9 road salting events, 8 sidewalk salting events. Hopefully that's all we have to do this year. General operational statistics, water and sewer, there was 24 water samples taken with all clear, 12 chlorination samples taken, all within parameters, 10 water turn-offs for customers. We had 1 water main break that occurred during on Lafergie Avenue. 1 water sewers lateral were repaired this month. 1 sewer lateral video occurred, 7 sewer calls this month, and it was 240,210 gallons of septics received from to the plant from outlying communities, and there was 390 tons of biofertilizer were created this month. That's what I have for a report, Your Worship. There's no questions.
Any questions for the Chair of Municipal Services? I do not see any speakers. Councillor Campbell.
Yes, Your Worship. Feeling kind of bad. Nobody had told me they wanted to see me on television. Anyway, hopefully I'll get that call.
Is he doing his report?
Staff has installed the holiday lighting throughout the city.
Oh, sorry. Bruce, Councillor McGill wasn't like
I'm not done yet. Come on. Give me a break.
No, he thought you had a question.
I thought you had a question.
We'll be right with you.
Sorry.
We'll be right with you.
Oh. Santa Claus got you all worked up. Anyway, I'll be short as usual. I'd like to congratulate Team Snow, their success over the weekend in the curling, and also I'd like to congratulate Chantel for the Employee of the Year award. Yes, and I just want to take this opportunity to wish my fellow councillors, the mayor, the citizens of Summerside and citizens of Ward 1 and our city staff a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now we'll call upon Councillor Campbell.
Are you
Floor is
sure?
yours, sir.
Are you sure?
Everybody's waiting to hear you.
As once reported before, staff has installed the holiday lighting throughout the city. We're still working on the electrical infrastructure for Potter's Lane and Mackenzie Drive subdivision. That should take the rest of December. Lighting on the Central Street water tower has been repaired. The new business park electrical services has been started. It's on hold for the rest of the winter. We had 10 new electric customers, 3 electrical service upgrades. Heat for Less program had 2 new customers. Lights were repaired on the section of Boardwalk past the Kentucky Fried Chicken on Water Street. We had 15 customer events this month. 2 were citywide and another one planned for Friday, December 20th at 1:30 a.m. to 5:30 a.m. So some people get mixed up and complain a bit. They think that's on Friday night. It's actually called Thursday night because it's in the morning, but it has confused some people and I've got wind of it for sure. And I don't know if there's any advantages being chair of the electrical commission, but Walker, Lynn, and Colin have had at least 3 outages in the last month.
All in your ward.
All of my ward, all of my little section of the ward too. The problem was breakers that were replaced, and I think metal doors were put on with it. So
That's because you're not on TV, maybe.
That's anyway, that could have been the problem. Power plant hosted a tour for Holland College, their electrical mechanical class, and wind generation. If you remember, I did some little research this afternoon. July we had 28.4%. August was 23.8%. September, which should start gaining in wind, but we had the breakdown just shortly after September, 28.5. October was 24.7. And now I'm going to the highlight of my report, and this is the highest I've ever read. We had 62% this month in wind energy. So don't growl about the wind. And that should catch us up, according to the finance report, that should help out quite a bit. I think 51% was the highest I've ever had on a monthly report. 62% is great. I have a resolution too, Your Worship.
Go ahead, Councillor.
Moved by myself, Councillor Campbell, seconded by Councillor McDougall. Whereas tenders were called for the City of Summerside 94 Ottawa Street building renovation, and whereas the City of Summerside received 4 tender submissions, which are as follows. The first one was Williams Murphy McLeod 1993 Limited, was $1,299,000 and the length of the project was 19 weeks. McLean Construction was $1,368,500. That was 34 weeks. Wellington Construction was $1,369,18 for 29 weeks, and Strategic Construction was $1,440,000 for 14 weeks. Be it resolved, the City of Summerside award the City of Summerside 94 Ottawa Street building renovation tender to Williams Murphy McLeod 1993 Limited for the price of $1,299,000 including taxes. Excluding, sorry. This bears the recommendation of the committee meeting of December 3rd, 2019.
Moved by Councillor Campbell and seconded by whom?
Seconded by Councillor McDougall.
Councillor McDougall. Any questions on the resolution? No questions. All in favour say aye. Contrary nay?
And I would also too like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a happy and safe one at that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Campbell. This point in the agenda, I would like to call forward our CEO, Mr. Robert Bob Ashley. Pardon? Pardon? No, this is for you. As was mentioned, Bob is retiring on January the 3rd. He's been with us for 6 or 7 years, and he wants to go quietly, but I said, well, you have to make him a presentation. And so on behalf, I'd call upon the Deputy Mayor to assist in the presentation here, and we'll give Bob an opportunity to say a few words. He's never, and I like your tie. So on behalf of Council, Bob, we say thank you very much for your years of great service to the City of Summerside. And I'll read it as we say in the minutes. Get my tripod adjusted here. I'll get the microphone right here, just so. On behalf of City Council, staff, and residents, thank you for your 6+ years of dedicated service as the City of Summerside's Chief Administrative Officer. We wish you a very happy retirement and wish you all the best. Thank you very much. Robert.
Thank you.
So maybe I'll get the microphone. You want to say a couple words, Bob? Sure. We'll give you a microphone there.
As most of you probably know, I've been plotting different ways of my exit. Tonight's version was me lying down on the front steps of City Hall and then drawing kind of a chalk outline around my body and then having some yellow caution tape around. That was one. Or jumping off the balcony into, you have one of those safety nets, right? I mean, add a little bit of drama to the whole thing, right? I mean, I can say what I want, I can think what I want, I can walk where I want, I can have an opinion, I can disagree, I can do all kinds of things. Anyway, I'd like to thank everybody for the support from council and from senior management and from staff at all levels. It's been a great run here and it's been a great education. As most of you probably know, I'm as curious as a cat and I've asked a lot of questions of everybody, and that education has been a great thing for me. and as well as some of the friendships and professional associations I've made with many, many people, which is one of the primary reasons why I want to stay in Summerside, because the network is so huge. I know way more people now here than I ever did in my hometown back in Toronto with 3.5 million people. Much bigger net here than back there, so I ain't going back there. I'm sticking around. So I'm looking forward to learning how to do the laundry and maybe a couple of cooking lessons and expanding my racket string business and my bicycle repair business,
Guitar.
things like that, and yeah, a little bit of acting on the side.
Great guitar player, classical, right?
Yeah, thank you. Special thanks to my directorial team, whom I've learned a great deal from. We've had a lot of laughs, not just working on projects together, but we've also had some fun along the way, and that's been great. And special congratulations to Rob, who is one of the senior management people that I've had the pleasure of working with. As much as he may have learned from me, I've learned just as much from him, if not more, and I wish him all the best in the future. And one thing I want to say is that working here, especially in the CEO position, is somewhat like being a guest. Nothing's forever, and the best thing about a good guest is knowing when to leave. And you don't want to overstay your welcome. I felt the time was right, going out on a good note, which is really great. I look forward to coming back and visiting all of you and having a chance to chat with you with my newly promoted position as citizen. So onward and upward. Thank you so much, and happy holidays to everybody.
Okay, we've gotten to the end of the agenda, so I believe there's a cup of coffee and a cookie afterwards, and we need a motion to adjourn. There are no items for the committee of the whole, so it's moved by Bruce, Councillor McDougall, and seconded by Councillor McFeely. The meeting adjourned. All in favor? Thank you very much. Merry Christmas to all.